Hi, my name is Joseph Lapp, and for my capstone project, we are working on a 2D shooter with lots of enemies. So a thing we were thinking about doing in our game was a super ability. So I thought, why not look at the the timer and cooldown of a super ability for a game I play a lot in Destiny 2. Um, in Destiny 2, you get it back by just waiting over time, by killing lots of enemies, and I wanted to see exactly how long those timers were depending on what you're doing in the game. Um, and I think that with this video, I kind of got a lot of good insight for what to do with our project. So, my first test, as you're about to see, is just full armor with no modifications to it that would increase super. So nothing like super mods, no killing enemies, no using weapons or armor that would give you super quickly. Just straight up what the game from loading into a level like this to the end. And as you can see, uh, the super recharge with no mods takes about 5 minutes. I think it's 4:58. I ran it twice just to make sure, and I was getting about 5 minutes, which I think is a completely fair time if you are being idle, not killing a lot, not moving around. So for my second test, I did a complete armor set with super mods. These things decrease the time for you to have to wait to get your super. So I wanted to see how they incentivized you to use these and how much of a benefit is it for the player in the game. Because if we have pickups in our game, it's something that we want to look at. So as you're about to see here, when we start waiting, with the mods, with a full set of mods, it takes about 3.5 minutes. This one I ran 3 times just to make sure, and I was getting anywhere between 3:30 and like 3:38. It was a little inconsistent, but I think that might have been my recording. Uh, so the second test I did with it was super recharge, no mods, but while killing enemies. And I went to the Dreaming City where I always go to test out weapons, and I tried to follow the same path for both these runs and ran it a few times. And on average, I was making my full super back in about 2 minutes of consistently killing enemies. Now this can fluctuate depending on enemy placement and like if there's characters in the world shooting the enemies that you're shooting at. So for my second test for this, I ran it with mods and killing enemies and got my super back in about a minute and a half. The run I'm showing right now is actually a little unlucky. I had a guy also running around with me shooting all the guys, so it didn't fully help. But it was about a minute and a half each time on average. The 3 or 4 times I ran this to see how long it took with mods and killing enemies. So overall, I think this is a system we want to go with. I think that the way it works in a first-person shooter can be similar to the way it works in a 2D shooter, and I think they have the timers down pretty well. And it's interesting to see like how much of a benefit they give you. Like a minute and a half doesn't sound like a lot of time, but it can actually be really beneficial for the player to get that super that much faster. Especially in like a place where you're not killing as many enemies, it could be really beneficial. And I think that's a good system that I definitely want to move forward with. This also doesn't take into account exotics or guns that can also reward supers. And I also tried not picking up orbs of light. I was trying to keep it as simple and straightforward as possible without a ton of extra benefits. I wanted it to be very controlled. Otherwise, that is my video package. Thank you very much, and that is it. Goodbye.